guarding your heart against offense. If you don't guard something, you may lose it. So it means you have to guard. So why should we guard our hearts? Why should we guard our hearts? Number one, because your heart is extremely valuable. It is valuable. We don't guard worthless things. It is where all your dreams, all your desires live. It is part of you that connects with God. That's why we sing songs that say, God, I give you, Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. Our hearts, they are there to connect with God. They are a conduit into how we connect with God. We give our hearts to God. It is where our dreams and our desires live. It is that part that connects with God and other people. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 10. This is Paul speaking to the church of Corinth. I have a serious concern to bring up with you, my friends. He is even calling them my friends. Using the authority of Jesus, our master, I'll put it as anciently as I can. He tells them, you must get along with each other. Praise the name of the Lord, church. You must get along with each other. You must learn to be considerate of one another, cultivating a life in common. Paul is speaking to the church of Corinth and he's telling them, my friends, this is a very serious concern. Paul knew if they are divided, they will never speak the same language. This is a church he's speaking to. And he knows that if they are not one, they cannot go far. So what does offense do to us? It can lead to death, whether it is physical or spiritual. You are spiritually dead because of offense. That's what happens. Just imagine from the examples we have given. Those were just few examples. So I got offended because of my blood brother. My sister offended me. So that adds a baggage on me. When I came to church, my e-community members offended me. When I came to church, my departmental leader at me. When I came to church, our pastor said something and I also got offended. So what happens in that? All these offense, you carry them on your back. So every time you are walking, you are full of offense. You become a bitter person. There is a baggage you are carrying on your back. So because of that, it tries to take away your glory. It takes away your peace. It takes away your joy. So you find a Christian who is always offended. A Christian who is always bitter. Bitter people in the church. It causes you to be disengaged. Disengagement. We are telling people, join a community. Please join a community. You are asking, why should I join? You are already bitter. We are telling you, participate in church activities. You are asking yourself, why should I do that? I'm already offended. You become disengaged from the rest of the people. You become disloyal to other people. And at the end of the day, there is a broken relationship and trust between you and the people you are talking to. And the worst thing which happens sometimes, people will walk away. I'm imagining some people, all a person somewhere, could have left even the church because they got offended. Matthew chapter 19, from verse 16. Verse 20 says, all these I have kept. The young man said, what do I still lack? Jesus was trying to tell him, obey these commandments, 1, 2, 3. And he says, all these things I have kept. The young man said, what do I still lack? Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. When the young man heard this, he went away sad. All these years I've spent accumulating my wealth. How can you tell me to sell and give it to the poor? Where were they when I was gaining my money and wealth? Because that was the core thing for this man. This is the only thing. He said the commandments. And I thank God because of this young man. He obeyed all the commandments, by the way. What can we do as we wind up? What should we do? The first thing there, live in unity. Psalm 133 and verse 1. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. God's people. God is happy when he looks at us from heaven and he sees a united church. People who are living together in unity. We are all living together in harmony. Number 2, we are saying embrace emotional intelligence. What can we do? Choose your words wisely. Know what to say to someone at times. Avoid gossip. Number 3, 1 Thessalonians. It says, make it your goal to live a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your own hands, just as we instructed you before. Avoid gossip. Proverbs 16:28 from the Message Bible. Troublemakers start fights. Gossips break up friendships. If you want to kill a relationship very fast, start gossip. Tell your neighbor, avoid gossip. Forgive one another. We'll only read one verse there from Ephesians 4:31. Get rid of yourselves. It's something to get rid of. Rage, bitterness. You are bitter. Get rid of that. Harsh words, slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. He said, be kind to one another, to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another just as God through Christ has forgiven you. So let's embrace forgiveness, brothers and sisters. People will hurt you, but forgive them. And then number 5, we emulate the early church. Acts chapter 2 and verse 42. All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper. So they gathered together, these believers. They gathered together and to prayer. Verse 45 says, they sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. This was the early church. They used to gather together from one house to the other, breaking bread together. When someone was in need, they would sell their property and then they'll all gather it and stand with that person who was in lack. Let's emulate the early church. And the last one there is, let's find peace and rest in God. Let's find peace and rest in God. Sometimes people offended you and they walked away. Sometimes they offended you, they never even talked to you again. Find peace in God. Forgive them, and then after that, find your peace in God. John chapter 14, verse 1. Do not let your heart to be troubled. Find peace and rest in God. Find your peace and rest in God. In conclusion, we are saying, offense never lets you go. It is you who have to let it go. It is your deliberate action to let it go. So that means that is our responsibility. But to God, he says, Matthew 19:26. But Jesus looked at them and said, with people, as far as it depends on them, it is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. That is what Jesus is telling us today.